Well, it's nice to be back in the workshop again. First time in about 10 weeks or so. It's middle of winter here in Tasmania now, hence being a bit rugged up. Now, if you watched my last video back in April, you know I was doing some simple experiments on the idea of headless design with the two-body tuners mounted inside the body of the guitar. Done some work on that. So here is the tuner assembly. So the idea is there's a wooden block here. It's got 6 holes for the tuners at the back. There are bearings, roller bearings in the back of each. These are flanged bearings, so they just pop easily in and out of the hole and sit nicely. Then this is not the final design of the tuner assembly, but the of the tuner knob. But the M3 threaded shaft on the end of the tuner comes through from the back, and then this is just made from a hexagonal threaded standoff. It's a very simple, cheap thing. It's got a hole cut in here. This assembly was seen from the bottom, so you'd be looking at the moment. You'd be looking into the back of the guitar. The string goes up through here, out through the hole, up through a slot in the top of the guitar, and out to the nut. Because this is a hexagonal section, it will slide to and fro, but it won't rotate easily enough. So once we've screwed the cover on the top here, then quite simply turning the knob will wind the tuner to and fro. And as the experiment in April demonstrated, even though the string is going to be coming up here at an angle through the body up to the bridge, the string tension shouldn't be enough to jam everything up. So that's the theory. You don't really want to be cutting a detailed little assembly like this by hand, but one of the aims of building this guitar for me was to use my homemade CNC machine behind me here to do as much of the work for me as possible. And so here's a short video showing that machine cutting this out. This first shot is probing. It's telling the machine exactly where the surface of the work to be cut is, so that the tool is at the right height relative to the piece of wood you're going to cut. This is now cutting the end holes that the bearings go into for the shafts. Speed it up a bit. I've taken the dust extraction off so that you can see what's going on, hence the use of the ordinary vacuum cleaner. This is the jig that holds everything in place. The slots are cut in situ on the same machine so that everything has to line up really. Now the piece is put flat into the jig and most of the rest of the cutting is being done. Using a 6mm diameter tool here, it's fairly standard for most of the work I can do. Here you're seeing the slots being cut that the tuners slide in. The smaller mounting holes and slots need to be cut with a smaller, finer tool, so here's the process for tool changing. Some machines have automatic tool changes, but that's a pretty expensive professional option really. The 3mm tool you just saw put in is used for some of the mounting holes, and then I've changed again to a 2mm diameter tool. Pretty delicate, so the cutting is fairly slow, and that's just cutting some final mounting holes and the slots for clearing the strings. And here you can just see the machine doing its stuff. There's a slightly better view of the string clearance slots being cut. Here's another shot of the machine doing its stuff. It's a home-built machine, so it doesn't look particularly professional and elegant. I'm quite pleased with the accuracy that it's cutting to now. It's certainly adequate for turning out pieces like this. So the finished tuner assembly is actually going to be glued into the body of the guitar, so it's solidly attached to all the rest of the wood of the body. And in fact, this back edge will be machined to follow the contour of the guitar body. The whole thing's going to be glued in before I did the final machining of the guitar body. That's the theory anyway, see if it works in practice.